Good afternoon. This is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We are at property address 3100 North Maple Street here in Canby. We are located just to the left of the front doorway. That's as you look at the house from the street. That's how I describe everything. 4-inch ABS cleanout. We're going to insert the camera, check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is running. We're going to zero the foot counter out here at the bottom of the cleanout, and off we go. We're scraping some debris loose from the flow line. I think by the time we're all said and done, my camera is probably going to have removed a good portion of this. What it is a combination of some grease buildup with paper products stuck to it. As I understand it, I don't think it's a terribly large household, and if you don't have a lot of water activity on your line, it's not uncommon for debris to only make it part way down line and kind of get hung up. So we'll see how the grease in the flow line looks on the way out. My camera, if it scrapes a pathway through most of it, it'll slough off naturally on its own where it's at right now. All right, so we do have some standing water here right before the transition.
Let me get Kevin real quick.
No problem. Which is it's a fairly common location to get standing water. You're often meshing two different pipes that are installed at two different times together, and in the process of digging up that concrete stub, it's if you're not being careful, it can be really easy to undermine the soil and mess with the compaction of the ground there and end up with some standing water. I'm more concerned, we just dropped into 6-inch concrete here. And this is kind of right in the location where the line looks like it's veering around some very large trees at the front of the property, so we'll see how this all looks here once the line is drained out. We've got quite a bit of debris here. And we may also have standing water, or at least settling issues in the concrete, or we may very well have a root in the line. There's something here that's kind of, my camera's having a hard time punching through. All right, here at about 100 feet, we have reached the main lateral connection. We're going to go locate that really quick here while the line drains out, and we'll have a much better view of the concrete pipe as we come back. All right, just located the camera head successfully. Line terminates on the far side of North Maple. Line kind of cuts over toward the driveway and runs up just along the left side edge of the driveway out to the street. All right, so all said and done there, the concrete pipe, I mean, calling it a belly is kind of absurd. The amount of standing water you have there is, at its worst point, is maybe a 1/16 of an inch. It's here and there throughout the concrete pipe. It's extremely minor, nothing worth repairing. You have a belly here that dissipates off at the transition at about 77 feet. And we come back here to the beginning of it. The belly here is maybe at its worst point. So that, in my opinion, is not significant enough to warrant tearing the sewer line out of the ground to fix that. Those are the kind of spots there. The only time you'd ever see a blockage and a backup from especially this distance with a belly that minor is under very heavy abuse. If you're flushing nothing but wipes, paper towels, things like that down the line, it takes quite a blockage to back up from 75 feet away. Anyway, and the result of all that buildup there is a combination of, I think flushable wipes, something of that nature anyway. Flushable wipes I include in the same category as regular wipes and paper towels. They're slightly less terrible than those things. And when you couple that with a small occupancy where you only have one person in the house, when you have that little water flow going through the line and items that really should not be going down the line, it takes very little for them to build up. And so what happens when you get stuff like that, it's those appear to likely be wipes as far as I can tell. I didn't get a great view of them, but that's just how they look. When they hit a transition like that and all of a sudden you go from 4 to 6 inch, you have that ledge. Those items that are moving to the line there become very saturated with water and very heavy. And when they go over that edge from 4 to 6 inch pipe, they just hit the bottom of the pipe down there and go splat, and they stick really effectively to the bottom of the pipe. So, I mean, you don't have a lot of water flow from sink, showers, and other things from a lot of people living in the house. What a lot of folks don't realize is that is a huge part of conveying solids from one end of the line to the other. So, that's what you end up with when you have very low activity on a sewer line, coupled with some stuff that probably shouldn't have been going down there. So anyway, the line here looks great. For a 100-foot sewer line, to have essentially only an area of 1 foot of pipe with an inch of water is you're doing a good job at that point. Most lines that push over 100 feet will frequently have large bellies in them, 10, 20, 30 feet long, with inches of water. So this was a nicely installed line. And I can tell you right now, it's a relatively, well, maybe I'm just hearing that. It's actually fairly deep for the clean out. I could hear my camera scraping through there when I pulled up through the dirt. Scratch that. I was just about to tell you, don't put anything heavy on this thing, but the line's actually deeper than I thought it was. And we're going backwards into the house right now. Everything looks good going through the foundation wall. The rest of that line there is exposed piping. You can see in the crawl space. Home inspector looks at that stuff. Nice looking sewer line. Good flow end to end. The concrete pipe is in fantastic condition. Very clean. The line overall is very clean. It just got gunked up with some wipes there. Anyhow, sewer line is functioning properly at this time. And in case you're curious, you've probably already figured it out after watching me locate here, but the line ends up heading towards those 2 big trees right there, and it cuts around them and then shoots out into the road. It goes across the curb very close to the front left corner of the driveway and the driveway skirt area. In case you're curious where the line's routed. By the time you hit the main there, you're about 8 feet deep.